Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the show today. We're going to be talking about some what is that? Juicy silliness. Glad to have you here. And of course, there's always kind of weird things going on in entertainment news, which is what we usually talk about here. I have been working on a couple things to do another TFT. We haven't done one of those in a while. Those are always fun. I think glad I got to work. That takes time. I got a presentation I have to create and all that kind of stuff. But there's a couple of them I'm actually having in the works, so that should be fun. But nevertheless, thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to go over here and hit that like button, and well, mainly I'm going to hit the share button because want more people in here to chat with, which is the point. Although I have to say, it is a gorgeous day. It's a nice temperature for me anyway. And I got myself a hot cup of coffee, go sit here and have a chat with a bunch of friends. That's pretty awesome. I have to say, Thundera, don't you think?
Wonderful, even.
It is.
Splendiferous.
It is, dude. Well, you don't sound happy. What's up, dude?
Oh, I'm not happy. My
Oh my
father's
God.
dying.
Oh, I saw you had mentioned that the other day, and I didn't know exactly what was going on. What's going on with him, dude?
He had rheumatoid arthritis for my whole life, as long as I've known him.
Oh, wow.
And the medicine he takes for that, or he took for that, was basically a shot in his spine every few months,
Yeah, yeah,
just so he could function.
yeah.
And that apparently caused him to have lung fibrosis.
Oh,
And
geez.
he got COVID, and nobody knew he had lung
Uh,
fibrosis. And there you go.
I see. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Doctors,
Yeah.
doctors and hospitals, man.
He probably, I mean, as far as I know, he never had any symptoms, like any trouble breathing. And if he did, he probably just thought it was his chronic sinusitis.
Right.
Um, so he probably didn't think about it, right? Like if his lungs didn't hurt, he probably didn't worry about it. So that's probably, I mean, that's definitely what got him. And it kind of came out of nowhere. It sucks because he had COVID and he was fine. I mean, he was getting better. And then all of a sudden he just had started having trouble breathing, and he called me to come pick him up and take him to the hospital. So I did, and when I picked him up, I pretty much figured he wasn't going to make it out of the hospital because he couldn't breathe. Like he was doing the the real short, deep breath
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and I've never heard him breathe. Like I said, he and I both have chronic sinusitis. I always had breathing trouble. He always had breathing trouble. Just runs in our family.
Yeah.
I never heard anything like that.
Oh wow, man, that sucks, dude. How old is he?
67.
Yeah, it's too young, dude, these days.
31 years older than me.
So he waited to have you, huh? Are you the oldest of your siblings?
I'm the youngest.
Oh, okay, all right. There it is then. But
I'm the baby.
it's way too young though, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not guaranteed, is it?
Well, no, but I mean he's on the vent and everything, and not getting better has been since Wednesday.
Are they using
So
the proper new drugs that seem to be having great effect?
according to them, he can't. They won't work on him because his fibrosis was too bad. That's what they said. It won't have any effect. And I was like, well, why does that matter? Try it anyway. But
Yeah, no, exactly. Try it anyway. Yeah.
but nope. The doctor said he's not a candidate for them, which kind of pisses me off a little bit because I think one of the reasons is because he's white, and there's been a bunch of hospitals here that have been caught not giving the drugs to people based on race, which is, highly illegal.
Well, no, you
Um,
got to balance it out though, right? Because black people are dying at higher numbers, so we got to make sure we even it out, right?
yes, yeah, right. We have to have equity even in death, apparently. But I don't know if that's why. That's just very plausible. Um, but yeah, it sucks. He just out of nowhere, it turned on him, and his lungs were damaged. So once all this is done, I'm going to go get mine tested. I'm going to go get checked for rheumatoid because I do think I have arthritis.
Yeah.
Because occasionally my joints will hurt all down one side, like once or twice a year. I'll wake up and just be in pain.
Yeah, well,
And
we all get it eventually. I mean,
yeah,
it's part of getting old. Some people who have it from a younger age, that's a thing, right? So
right.
that's different. So
So I want to get checked for it and see, and go from there. The part that's really sucky is he had been working on his because he was diabetic, and he had been working on that for the first time ever. Like he was lighter, the lightest I'd ever seen him. He's taller than me. He's about 6'2", and was about 220, 230 when he went into the hospital. That's the lightest I've ever seen him in my whole life. He's a big guy. And yeah, that sucks. Because he was actually trying to take care of himself for once.
Yeah, no, it does suck, dude. But these are things we're dealing with. That's life, and
Oh,
it's so
and by
bad.
the way, he was fully vaccinated. Vaccines
Of
don't do
course,
shit.
it doesn't matter. Of course, it doesn't matter. That's not even the point. Sounds like he's the COVID isn't the issue; it's the complication, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
which I think is
Which, like
what
I
it
said, nobody knew.
right.
He
But
didn't know. Nobody knew.
yeah, I think that's what we're seeing a lot of, though, which is why we get anybody who has COVID and passes away are just being marked as COVID death, and it's not really the truth. Um,
Yes.
but whatever. When we look at other countries, like say here in Japan, where they really don't want numbers,
Hmm.
they only count actual COVID deaths. The numbers are ridiculously low, right? I
Yes.
mean, but yet
Yeah.
you have what? What are you up to? 500,000 in America now?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, more. There have
It's
been more
stupid.
this year than last year.
It's stupid.
Um,
It's a lie. Yeah.
with vaccines and multiple different treatments that we know work, yet somehow more people have died this year than last year. That's shocking levels of evil.
Yeah. Yeah, Dave has
But
a type of arthritis as well, and Lyme disease. Jesus Christ, Dave,
jeez, it's not good, bro.
that's not good.
Uh, but I mean, it is what it is. The worst part about it for me is the day that they put him on the vent was my mother's birthday,
Yeah.
and if he goes this week, my birthday is Sunday.
Oh wow.
Happy birthday!
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sucks, dude. Sorry to hear it, man. But
So my mother passed or my mother passed on his birthday, which is December 19th.
mhm,
If he doesn't come off that vent, he effectively passed on her birthday, both of which are right. My birthday's right in the middle of.
right.
It's like, jeez, man. I told my wife I'm just going to go into hibernation from October to about February from now on because it's safer that way.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, we all live to the death of our parents, though. Yours are just a little bit young,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Um,
Yeah, my mother's side of the family all dies young. My father's side doesn't usually die too young, but the last generation of them, like my father and his siblings, a few of them haven't taken care of themselves at all, and they were, really tore up with avoidable diseases like diabetes or smoking related illnesses, stuff like that,
mm,
and that's a problem. See, here's the problem with smoking. Smoking itself obviously is bad for you,
sure.
but if you're active and a smoker, it's way less of a big deal than if you're just somebody who sits around and does nothing and smokes.
Well, I mean,
And
that's everything's like that.
yeah, and that's what she did. My aunt, unfortunately, she just did nothing and chain smoked, and put herself in an early grave.
Yeah, no, no. It's smoking, of course, isn't great. I wish I hadn't started, but I do get checkup here in Japan. Getting checked ups is easy and normal, so everyone does it. But and my lungs are completely clean. But I think a part of that is, I do a little bit of exercise every day. I mean, it's not a lot, but just like 30 minutes moving around, right up the mountain.
Mhm.
But I also play saxophone and sing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's
there's a lot of oxygenation in your
a
lungs,
lot. And
keeping them clean.
I don't have the ability to sing softly and sweetly. I have to use a lot of technique, then kind of blare it out in that bluesy
You're a
way.
cheater. I gotcha. You're
Well,
a cheater.
I have no choice. I wasn't born. I had no intention of being a singer. I'm a saxophone player, right? But I just I needed a singer, so screw it, do it yourself. But I think that helps. But whatever, everything in moderation. It's kind of the way it goes.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
I'm glad I learned my parents' lesson, and I am straight edge to the core. I don't even like taking Tylenol unless I have to. Um, my father was a drunk and a drug addict most of my childhood,
Mm,
and then my mother smoked herself into a grave with her diabetes. And
yeah.
when I was 8 years old, my father was out drinking, and I was sitting with my grandpa and my dad, and I just looked at both of them and said, "I'm not going to end up like that. I'm never going to do this to my family."
Oh, good for you, dude.
So I've never done it.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't smoke or drink or do drugs. My biggest problem was food. I love to eat, like everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've got that under control. I haven't really been doing it the last few months because for 3 months now in a row somebody's died or been on the verge of death. So it's been a little hard to keep up with it.
Sure.
And but I haven't gained any weight either. I'm still right about where I was, maybe 5 pounds lighter than I was 3 months ago. So once I pick it back up, it'll start coming right back off.
Yeah, that's good, dude. And you're coming into the age of your life where family starts dying. From your mid
Yeah.
30s to your 50s, you're going to lose pretty much all those aunts and uncles and parents and stuff like that.
The
Yeah,
craziest part for my father's side is the oldest one, my uncle Bobby,
yeah,
is the one who's still there. He's in pretty much perfect health, and he was went to Nam twice, all
yeah.
sorts of stuff. Like he's lived a life, and he's fine. But his second youngest brother and his sister both are probably going to pass before him.
Yeah, no, my dad's the same. He's literally has metal in him,
Yeah,
literally, and he's just kind of striding along, no problems. His mind is still sharp as a tack. Yeah, to think about how many lives he has snuffed, that he just keeps
that's
on going, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it is, dude.
Anyway,
Anyway,
but the good news is, Friday the wife and I are going to, unless something crazy happens here, most likely Friday we're going to go to a big concert that we've been wanting to go to for years that they do
ooh,
here pretty much every year.
let me
Uh,
guess. Let me guess. Weird Al
you're not going to
Yankovic.
guess it. No,
No,
you'll
no,
never
no, no,
guess
no,
it.
no. I'm gonna get it. Blake Sheldon.
No,
Okay,
God.
okay.
Oh,
Hold on a second. Okay, I get it. Madonna's returning tour again.
oh, this guy, Madonna. I swear. I would rather be in the bed where my father is than listen to Madonna. Thank you very much.
It's just more pop crap. But okay, who are you going to see then?
Trans Siberian Orchestra.
That was my next choice.
I bet it was, yeah.
So I'm assuming they're kind of like Manhattan Transfer. I'm assuming.
I don't know who that is, but basically what they do is they do like symphonic metal, but
Oh,
they do it with
metal.
like Christmas. They do symphonic metal with like Christmas songs and stuff.
Oh, dude. Because Booster was talking about all these weird ass stupid metal that he listens to.
Yeah.
I actually went because I did go and I actually pay attention. I don't know if you noticed, but I did go check them out and they're just stupid.
Yeah.
Screw that. But he mentioned one. I can't remember the name of it now, but it hooked me into symphonic metal, which I'd never
Yeah.
heard before. That's the shit, dude.
Yeah. It is. It's what most of the great composers probably would be into right now if they were alive. Like
I
that's what
betcha.
they'd be doing.
I betcha. I like that,
Oh, yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's
good stuff.
basically what this is, but the one that they do here is only Christmas music.
That's
Like so
fine.
they do like classic Christmas songs, but they do them with power metal and things like that, and it's pretty cool. Um, and their concert comes here every year. I don't think they did last year, but they do every year because of COVID. And I've always wanted to go, and I never did, or we didn't get the chance to get to the tickets because it sold out too fast. So this time we made sure to get some.
Oh, that's cool, dude. Excuse me, Manhattan Transfer for your information though. They are a symphonic, synthetic, fusion band.
Hmm.
Yeah, you might like them. But if you like articulate music, you would like them. Dave
Yeah.
says he went and saw Weird Al at the Hershey Park in Pennsylvania. Dude, you know the thing about Weird Al, other than the fact that he's clearly a genius, is that dude is talented as shit, man.
Yeah.
He could have been a great singer all onto his own. I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing his skill, Weird Al.
The
Um,
crazy thing is that going the route he did was probably more financially successful for him,
I bet you. Yeah, I bet you.
but talent wise, he still could have done it. He still could have been a professional, no question. He found a great niche and it worked. Made him all kinds of money. And it got to the point for a long time there. I don't know if it's still this way, but for a long time it was considered taboo to not let him use one of your songs as a parody.
Well, I mean, why would you do that? I mean, then some people have, but it's like, that's free advertising, man. That's love. Parody comes from a point of love, not hate. Because if it's hateful, like, and we see it these days, a lot of these
Yeah.
so-called woke comedians are parody people in a hateful way, and they're not
And it
funny.
sucks.
It
Yeah,
sucks.
it's not
It's
funny.
got to be come from a place of love. It doesn't work otherwise.
A
And
love or at least respect, like high respect.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
One or the other.
absolutely. But Dave, Kashmir is probably the greatest album ever made. Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, wait a minute. That's a big saying. That's something big there.
Mm. I think you would have a hard time arguing with me on a musicality
Mm,
level. If you want to talk
well,
about
maybe not
popularity,
musicality.
maybe, but
Well,
musicality,
popularity, it's
yeah.
definitely not. But it's good. I'm not sitting here and saying it's bad, but that's a big statement. It's a
Well,
big statement.
he put it down because I said articulate music, and you don't get outside. You have to go into real serious music like classical or jazz or something like that
Yeah,
to find articulation of that level. Those guys, for being a pop rock band, is what they were, right? For the level of musicianship in that band, it's just not even fair, dude.
yeah.
I mean, it's
No, I
insane.
mean, there's a reason they're the top, probably the most revered band, especially of that genre, to ever exist.
Oh yeah, no.
Um,
And that drummer, my God, dude. What's his
yeah,
name? Bonham?
I
John
think so.
Bonham? I think that was his name. That dude, I don't I know this isn't going to mean a lot to everybody, but that dude would keep like a classical 4/4 beat somewhere and then have like a 16th, 7th beat on the back end of it.
Yeah,
I mean, how I don't know how he did this.
he has three arms, obviously.
It's got something was going on. But I mean, it's insane. That drummer is insane. They're all insane. But Kashmir is a great, great album. Even if you don't like the music, you have to, if that's not your style, you have to appreciate the musicality, dude.
Well, I
And
was watching randomly. I was watching this video. I think I told you about it of this professional. I'm assuming he's in some form of symphony or orchestra musician, a black guy
mhm,
who I think he was a autodidact. So he taught himself everything,
yeah,
and he's one of these guys who has that ear, right? Who if
yeah,
he
yeah,
hears it, he can play it, and he's really good at it. But he had never really listened to like Metallica or anything like that. He just never did. He was always into more classical, contemporary style music. And when they finally let him, I don't remember what song it was, but they gave him one to listen to. He was blown away, like how much skill and talent there is in all of it. And then he
yeah,
went. I think it was the drums. He played the drum part of it pretty much perfectly. He missed a little bit here or there, but he pretty much nailed it just from hearing it once or twice.
sure, yeah.
And that was amazing to me. Like, how the
Well,
hell do you do that?
that's what's called a professional. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, you got to be able to do that. The funny thing is, some of the best, say, guitar players, which seem to be the focus in the modern age, but some of the best guitar players of all time never studied music in their life. Eddie Van Halen, Angus Young, those guys are all, both of them are ear by ear. It's
yeah,
pretty damn impressive. And then you
it
take
is.
someone who's super highly classically trained, like Yngwie Malmsteen or Steve Vai. And I mean, who's your favorite? Pick one, because they're all four of those guys. I think are very similar level in what they do.
Yeah.
Yngwie is very, very, very articulate, but sometimes I think he's too much. So,
What do you think of guys like? You're a musician. What do you think of guys like a Pavarotti?
oh, Pavarotti is incredibly skilled. Yeah,
Like, because I think his is more skill than talent. I think it's obviously he's very talented. Like he's just got a baseline ability, but he's just when you listen to him, even if you don't understand the language, like
yeah,
I don't understand
yeah,
Italian. Um, you can tell that he's just killing it. He's absolutely killing whatever he's singing about. Probably food, I think. I don't know. I don't know what Italians sing about. Uh, he's just killing it. And it's just guys like that prove that music is universal. Does You don't have to really necessarily know what they're saying
right.
for it to be powerful.
Well,
And I don't know. I just think that's special. I think it's something that's kind of unique to music. You can do the same with visual art too, I guess, but not to the same level. I don't think.
well,
I
I
don't
mean,
think if you understand the culture that the visual art's coming from, you don't have the same respect for it. Whereas music can just overwhelm you no matter what.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think this audience is interested in me going into a long dissertation on opera. However, I will make a comparison between Placido Domingo and Pavarotti. How about that?
Hmm.
And now Domingo, that is a talented fellow.
Yeah.
He just it's pure and it's so easy when you see him singing. It's as if
Hmm.
there's nothing going on. He just is if he was born to do that, right? So there's
Right.
an example of a talent. Now, for me, Pavarotti is much better.
Hmm.
But but then you can see his brain working when he's doing it,
Right.
right? I mean, he's highly skilled. Is he also talented? I would imagine so. But and of course he and Placido sang together all the time, especially with the three tenor stuff they did for years, right? But Luciano, he's just another level. But I would probably attest that to skill over talent. Yeah, I guess it would. But you can see it. We see his brain working when he's singing, whereas Domingo, he's just there.
Yeah.
You know.
And I can notice that even, like I said, I don't know what the hell he's saying. But I mean, I can usually guess it a little bit because Italian's not that much different than other Latin languages.
No.
But uh, but still, you can just kind of see it, like you said. Like if you watch one of his performances, and his last one that he ever did is on YouTube. Um, you can tell that this guy, he's like a mechanic. He's working
Yeah.
through song, and it just sound you can. There's just a difference to that sound than somebody who's just pure raw talent
Yeah.
or
Uh,
mostly raw talent.
and but the thing Pavarotti was real good at, I think, as well, is I feel he's also a good actor, right? And that's important for opera. You are on the
Yeah,
stage, right? I mean, I know that this isn't everybody's thing, but I don't care for female opera singers very much because they're too shrill most of the
yeah,
time. I'd much rather listen to a tenor,
yeah.
if I'm going to listen to opera. But I mean, freaking Pavarotti, he can just move your ass. He's so good at distilling the emotion of what he's doing. And as far as the meaning, love, most everything is about love. I mean, that's kind of what humans sing about.
Pretty much.
And
Yeah.
now, another person who I've always thought was really interesting is Bocelli, Andre Bocelli. Now,
Mm.
Bocelli is, you've probably seen him. He's a blind tenor, opera tenor
Hmm.
singer. And he's interesting because he's just emotion,
Yeah.
right? But anyway, I'm not going to get into this. I'm not even looking at the thing. They must be yelling at me. Shut up,
No,
Chester!
no. Grimlock said that the drummer I'm thinking of is Larnell Lewis, and he is correct. That's the video I watched. Was Larnell Lewis is his name, and he is a spectacular drummer.
Yeah,
But it's amazing to me to watch people who have that skill and that talent and it combined into talent will get you so far usually. Eventually, you're going to have to add the skill to it, and some people like that just have done it. They've
yeah,
just disciplined themselves into something that they love doing and turning it into more than just a
sure.
hobby and
Yeah,
are masters at it or close to a master as you can get. And I have always found that amazing how musicians can do that. Some not all musicians can do it, but some musicians can do it. Can just hear something and just play it near perfection. Something difficult like a Metallica song, near perfection, and just pop 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 like it's
yeah,
like they're changing, like they're wiping their butt. Like it's just it's that something that common to them.
yeah. Well, I hate to be to shock you there, Thunder, but there are some of the blacks that can do music.
Yes, they might even be known for it. In
Maybe,
fact,
possibly. But yeah, no, that's cool. Um, I've always I'm one of those musicians though that relies on the talent more than the skill.
yeah,
I'm a bit lazy in that regard.
lazy
But
bastard! How dare you?
yeah, I know. But I've been doing it so long that it doesn't matter anymore. You know.
Well, to most people, it doesn't. I grew up with classical music and stuff.
Hmm.
You know, I grew up. I went to school I went to. We had to learn an instrument and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
and so I've always. That's one of the reasons I think I don't care about artists. Like, it's just not something that interests me to really get into like their stuff because the ones I grew up with were all long dead. So it's like,
No,
what do I care? You know what I mean? That's Bach's been dead for how long? What do I care about his personal life?
that's true. Yeah. But no, I mean, if you have children, your children should be taking music. I'm telling you, you should do this because music is a very unique thing in the human endeavor. Um, because your child is going to either lean, usually 60-40, to the right brain or left brain, right? Meaning
Yeah.
they're either going to lean more toward the artistic side, the emotional side, or the academic or articulate logical side.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But you really want to balance the kid if you can a little bit. And music is great for this because music is both. See, if you're a painter,
Yes.
it's not. It's very, very right-brained. Most artistic things are, but music is not. It's both. And this is why all of the, when everyone makes the joke about the Asian kid playing piano or violin, right? Well, they do that for a reason. They're trying
Hmm.
to balance the kid's brain out. This is intentional. And here in Japan, it's piano. In China, it's violin. But every damn kid takes music in Asia, and it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with music.
No, of course not.
Yeah,
We used to pretty well do that here as well. You know, everybody knew how to do a little something, even if it was something simple. They could do something,
sure.
and there's many reasons for it, but one of the main ones is it does help round out your brain, helps
Yep,
round out your thinking.
that's the point.
Now, I disagree with the idea of forcing anybody into the arts, but I think it should always be something that is I think mandatory is the wrong word. Something that's highly encouraged. And there's ways of doing that to a young child
Yeah,
that would get them interested because there's a million different instruments. I guarantee you they'll like playing one of them. They'll
yeah,
just enjoy
sure.
it's fun.
And I will use the word mandatory. There's way too many people these days that give children options. Why? What they're a child. Your job is to civilize them and build them up for their best successful chances. They don't get
It's true.
choices. You tell them what to do because you're the frickin' parent. And if you're sitting there saying, "Well, I get," well, fuck you, because you're ruining that kid.
No, what I meant by that is like beyond a certain scope. Yes, everybody should have certain competency in these things because it does help balance your brain out.
Yeah.
And I think if you give enough options, pretty much everybody would be able to find an instrument they
Right.
like.
You mean
Full stop.
insisting they become world famous or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah. Don't, there's a limit, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, the cheerleader mom, I get it. Yeah.
yeah, there's only
Yeah.
so much a person, most people are ever going to be able to accomplish, no matter how hard they work,
Hmm.
and that's just a sad truth. You have to
That's all
have
right.
a certain level of either incredible discipline to overcome your natural lack of talent, or a certain level of natural talent
Yeah.
that can be grown off of. Some people can overcome natural lack of talent.
Some.
I've seen it,
Yeah.
but it's much more rare than somebody with the talent, and the talent alone is already rare. So I don't think there's anything wrong with baseline understanding. I think that's good. I think once you try to force it into like specialization, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's
it
definitely
also
true.
takes away somebody's other their abilities for other things, which could be much more to their speed, like much more mechanical things.
Uh, Now, Lady Celtic Moon says she can do spoons. Now, that's a whole nother talent. That is dealing with a body, hand-eye, body rhythm. Any
Yep.
kind of percussion is dealing with that. But spoons are cool. I ain't got nothing against spoons. You?
No, not at all.
They could be. I've seen there's a hillbilly lady on the YouTubes, and she's the baddest ass spooner I've ever seen. And you
It,
take that for what you'd like.
instrument I always loved. I used to play it as a kid. I should get one as a harmonica. I'd
Oh
play that
yeah,
shit all day.
I got
I'd
a
sit there, just all over that thing. I
I
loved
got
it.
a I got a chromatic harmonica I play on
Yep.
stage sometimes actually. Yeah, it's pretty handy. I'm not the greatest harmonic player, but I mean I can kind of do the Neil Young shit,
Oh yeah.
which is good enough. People like they get all wet, stuff like that. I don't know. It is about the harmonica, but well, then again, well, who is that guy? What's that guy's name from Blues Traveler? Jesus, just mad skill, dude.
I
Mad
can't
skill.
remember. I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his name.
Insane level of harmonica playing. I've never seen anything like it. It's awesome. But anyway, we should probably do a little bit of the news. Just a little bit.
Let's do some.
Yeah.
Before we do, though, I did want to say my wife just DM'd me from the other room to
Uh-huh.
tell me
Uh-huh.
with 4 exclamation points that she played the violin in school.
Sweet.
Just so we're clear.
Well, that's good. No, no. I mean, as a child, you should do some kind of music. You just really
Yeah.
should. You don't have to keep it. You don't have to do it as an adult. It's not necessary. It has nothing to do with that. It's simply about training your brain, man. And if you got kids, give them on some kind of music, even if they hate it. Tell them suck it up, Buttercup.
At least try it. At least try it for a
Yeah.
while.
It really does work. Anyway, let's get into it here. First thing I want to do is talk about Viceroy. I hope I haven't spoken about this one before. I don't think I have. We've been doing this long enough that I'm starting to kind of step over my own feet, possibly. But I don't care. I'm going to talk about it anyway. I adore this game. It's for every particular reason. One of the things with I forget what do they call it, where I need everything to be straight and organized. What is that?
Autism?
Yeah, that.
Oh,
Yeah. The box is nice. Everything is well organized. I
I do like
appreciate,
that box.
I like good boxes, Thundero.
Me too. See,
But
I like
yeah,
bottles too. I'm weird. I'll just walk. I don't drink, right? But I'll walk down where the bottles are, where all the booze is, because they have awesome looking bottles. So I just be like, "Yep, that bottle's cool." I like things to be organized, Chester. I like it.
yeah, me too. It's very, very important to me. However, this game right here is kind of neat because it's a semi-cooperative game in a way, where you have all these tiles and look at the absolutely gorgeous art. Look at it; it's
Yeah,
gorgeous.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
it is beautiful, beautiful production on this game. But what you're doing is you're building a tower here, a pyramid, with various people, and some of them are warriors, some of them are blacksmith, or they're all kind of different characters, and you're matching colors and skills, and you're earning points for every card you lay down, and you can also get cards that play off, and you put these little that's what that little oval shaped tile is sitting on top. You're getting bonus points, and you're just kind of working together. But you're also playing against each other because you're earning points depending on what you play as you go up the board, but you got to be careful what you play because the other person might be able to make points off it as well. It's simple. It looks complicated. It really does. But once you play it, you're like, oh, you get it, right? And it's just this great, and this board here is almost done. It's only got one more piece left to drop up top, and it's just really fun and interesting. A kid could play it, but you're really, an adult has got to be able to master it, right? It's that kind of game, just like even like chess, right? And it's also fun because it is just gorgeous production. These cards and these tiles, everything is made is robust and well made. It's a Russian creator, which from the old Baltics and Eastern Europe, there's a lot of great board game makers coming out of there, video game makers as well. They're having a bit of a boom over there, which is neat. But fun, fun, fun game. A perfect game for two, by the way. Husband and wife, perfect game, right?
Nice.
Because it's you can play more, I think, but two is perfect in this game. So for couples, I'd say. Nevertheless, Viceroy, it's called. The Assistant King. And Yeah, go check this one out. You can pick it up real easy. It's a cheap game. For as gorgeous it is, it's cheap. I saw this thing on sale for like $18. I mean, my God, dude, that's so
That's
cheap for
pretty
what you
cheap.
get. Yeah,
Especially shit nowadays. That's going to McDonald's anymore. Christ,
yeah,
so
yeah.
expensive to do everything.
Now, as you see, you got the cardboard in here. You got a little bit of cards with these tiles, right? You got a little bit of tokens with the little plastic gemmy things. So it's there's not a lot in there, but which is why they can sell it so cheap. But This is definitely worth a buy to put into your board game closet without question. Some of the games I put on here are ridiculously expensive. The most expensive one I've talked about on here was like an $800 game, right? And I get it. Not everyone's going to go out and buy that. I understand. But something like this, where you could pick up for $30 for sure, no matter where it's at. Go put this in your collection. Your kids will like it. You'll love it. This one right here, I guess, is the limited edition cover. But who cares about that? Go get the normal one. It doesn't matter. And because this probably they charge a little bit more for this particular box, but the only difference is the cover art, I think.
Yeah. I do have to say that there is no human man who could swing that axe, but it's
No,
cool looking.
no. But I mean, well, it's neat because this art is all coming out of Eastern European artists, right?
Yeah.
This is Yuri Zurovlev, is the creator of this game, and it's all coming out. It's Mayday Games, Hobby World through Mayday Games, of course, which is an ancient company. They've been around forever, but they're just distributing it, right? This is created from I think, Ukraine. Is it? I think it's Ukraine.
Mm.
But the art is fantastic, and it's neat too because I have board games are interesting. A lot of the art in board games are coming from European artists. I don't know why that is, but it is. But when you see a Baltic artist compared to an Italian artist or a French artist or a Spanish one, um, their style is different, and they're culturally different, right? And
Mm.
things are portrayed different than you would expect, and I kind of like that, right? I like seeing things that are a little different than my American point of view. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
personally enjoy that. Some people hate it, but I like it. And yeah, great game, man. Can you say
Well, it's
OCD?
interesting.
I guess. I can't help it. You know the good thing though, lady. My house and my school and my office and all my stuff is pristine, and that's a good thing.
Pristine.
It is.
Ah, pristine.
Yes, I like pristine. Very important. Everything has to be straight. The problem is I married a woman who thinks it's funny as hell to put things crooked and wait and see how long it takes me to fix it. She does that, dude.
I
And
knew her and I would get along wonderfully.
she knows, and I try to be strong and tough, but I can't get more than 5 minutes. She'll do stuff like, she'll ask, "Hey, you want a coffee? You want a glass of water or something?" And I'm sitting there doing something like, "Oh yeah, thank you, that'd be nice, right?" Because I can get my own ass up and do it, but she's offering,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
what does she do? She puts it on the other side of the room, so I got to get up and get it. It's like, what the hell? What's the point? It's her sense of humor, right? Oh well, women.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Sorry, I'm
Uh,
eating steak.
yeah.
Eating steak and drinking root beer. It's a good day.
Ooh, goodness gracious! I had some root beer yesterday.
Mm.
Because I spend a lot for my little sarsaparilla drinks that I get. So I don't
Hmm.
drink. I only have one or two a week. Which is
Yeah.
better for me anyway. But I did have myself some sarsaparilla yesterday, and I was a happy boy.
All
Anyway, let's
right.
move on here to our first little thing. Now, this is from Somali, and I usually like to put up things which, if you guys go to the Discord, which you're free to do, and I'm sure Thunder here in a minute will drop the link to the Discord if you're not a member already, because what this channel is all about, a bunch of friends having a chat, right? I mean, that's what we are. We're not trying to be famous, and that's not what this is.
Yeah.
So go over, be part of the Discord. There's no reason for you not to be. Maybe even Joshua could drop it in there for us, and drop in suggestions, drop in stories. We'd love to talk about it. I mean, why not? This one was dropped in Somali, and I thought it was a really interesting. It's interesting. I don't know. Go ahead, dude.
Italian revenge killer who hunted down and executed two burglars because they insulted his mother's honor by leaving a sex toy on his parents' bed is arrested.
Okay. Now, okay, I get it.
Do the British, I have to ask, do the British not know how to write in their own language?
No, they don't. Have you not noticed the British don't know
Because,
English
okay,
very well at all?
this is a title, right? So the English I was taught is that every word except for the extremely common words you capitalize in a title.
Yeah, sure. Headline. Yeah.
Yeah. What? What? There's no punctuation.
No,
There's no commas. It's a long run-on sentence.
no.
why?
Well, grammar, I thought.
Why is England? Why is England? Just
Yeah,
why?
that's a good question. Why is England? But here's the thing, though. Are you mad at him?
No,
Yeah.
not me. Not
Um,
really.
it is extreme. I mean, they stole from you. They didn't kill anyone. Doesn't sound like they assaulted anyone. They just were being dickheads. Which it's a thief. They're automatically fall into the dickhead category.
Right.
Is that worthy of death? Uh, I mean, yeah, maybe. I see, but thing is, it's an odd story. I just don't know if I don't think I'm mad at him. I get it. I
No.
kind of.
I think it's actually kind of hilarious, to be honest.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah.
The sad
I'm an extremist when it comes to property rights. I guess apparently I didn't think I was, but I guess I am. I think people who violate your property, uh, they get what they get. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, people are like, would you kill someone to defend your property? Yeah, yeah, I sure would. Yeah, real quick. Don't even care if I go to jail. Real quick, would do that.
I wonder how much time he'll get for this now, because
Oh,
it might be a little more stringent than you and I would think, because Italy, the Italian culture, the Italian people, they have a long history of revenge crime.
yeah.
This is a problem in Italy. I mean, the whole joke about the Sicilians and the mafia and stuff and the way they are, it's not because they're mafia, it's because they're Italian. They've had a lot of this trouble over the centuries.
Yes.
It's built into the culture, so therefore they might have a very stringent system of punishment for that. It might be overly severe, right?
Like,
Or
all right,
not.
I have to be a grammar Nazi now. Look at what's that called? Where the byline by Natalia Penza for what what? Who wrote this? Oh, Chester. I'm not even a grammar Nazi usually, but these headlines sometimes, man, I'm like, jeez. They must be trying to trigger me.
So meaning they should have said from Mail Online?
Well, you could do from, but also why is mail online one word as it's supposed to be, and all of it's capitalized. So they know they should be capitalizing, and yet
Yeah,
they
no.
persist.
These days, the internet has absolutely, and Twitter, I'd say, particularly, has killed grammar and spelling and punctuation and all that kind of stuff. I see these things constantly. It bothers my brain far more than it does yours. Trust me. But I've tried. I try. It's like my wife taking the book and moving it just 5 degrees off. You know.
Yeah, that's pretty funny though.
She doesn't understand everything must be either north south or occasionally depending on the object east west is okay. But north south is what it should be. My whole house is set up that way.
Have you ever had a psyche veil for obsessive compulsive disorder?
No. Well,
You might want to look into that, bud.
the good thing is no matter where you put me in the world, I know exactly where north is.
That's is that a good thing?
It is a good thing.
What if you're at the North Pole? Huh?
Huh? Okay, fine. But here's the thing, though. It's worse than you imagine. Not only can you put me any place and I know the exact the cardinal directions, I also know and in my brain subconsciously track our dimensional location in space.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
He's too powerful.
It's too much, but it's true, dude. I mean, there's several things going on in my brain all the time, and I don't know why. That's one. The other one, there's constantly a clock going on in my head, constantly. I know exactly what time it is all the time. It's this clock. I don't. It's not like I'm planned it. It just is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. The good thing though, I don't need a watch. Never wear one. My wife can always ask me what time it is, and I am always exactly correct. Why is that?
Well, the one thing it doesn't keep track of in time is daylight savings time.
No, I don't. I keep track of standard time. That's true. But I don't know why that is. I don't
Do they
know.
use 12-hour clocks in Japan, or is it 24 hours?
They use both. They tend to lean toward the 24-hour clock though for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange. It is strange to me. My wife uses that a lot because she worked in the hospital for so long, and that's what they use, the 24 hour. But
Yeah,
it was just one of those weird things I noticed traveling around the world. How many places use a 24 hour clock instead of the
yeah.
12 hour clock?
Yeah, I think it just makes sense to them. Military did it simply because of the changing, being in different time zones and stuff like that. Is the reason the military did
Yeah.
it. But yes, Lady Celtic Moon, how did he know it wasn't his mother's? That is fair. They could have found it and put it on the bed as they because they thought it was funny. But we shan't ask mother this. For but
Can you
it
imagine having to have that conversation with your mom? So is that yours or?
I'm a robot, Jasper says. I don't know why it is, dude. I never planned it. It's not like I sat down and studied it intentionally to do so. It just is, man. I don't know. I can't.
Jester is a synth confirmed.
Yeah. Oh well. But interesting story, dude. But I can't say I'm mad at him though. Moving on to oh god, I don't know, dude. Go ahead.
BioWare loses fourth major Dragon Age dev as senior series creative director. That is a title.
Mm.
Matt Goldman exits studio. Well, the next Dragon Age game's gonna be shit.
Dude,
So
that
there's that.
sucks though. I like that because Dragon Age is like my favorite, AAA series. I love
Yeah.
Dragon Age more than Elder Scrolls or Fallout or anything like that. I mean, as far as AAA stuff goes. And Matt Goldman has been with Dragon Age from what, the beginning, I think, right?
I think so.
And the other three guys that left were old timers as well. So what the hell's going on with Dragon Age, man? That
I don't know.
sucks, dude.
I liked Inquisition. I didn't. The combat system was kind of ass, but the rest of the game was pretty good. The
It was
storyline was
interesting.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I
They
liked
did
it.
have cringy virtue signally bullshit in it, but it was completely ignorable. If you didn't go look for it, you probably wouldn't even have found it. Um, so I don't know, man. A lot of these companies, and it really just comes down to American universities are woke as shit, and all they do is produce wokeness. So you get these young devs and these young programmers and things, and they're incompetent. And we're starting to see it now filter into the gaming industry
Yeah,
and other industries,
yeah,
where these other guys they can't deal with them. They can't work with them. That they're complete. It's like talking to aliens because they're just so insufferable. And so they either just leave, go start their own studios,
right.
or because these guys are dumb coming out of college, they take so little pay that eventually the companies just want to leverage everybody out so they can pay way less for
Right.
labor.
That's another
But what
problem.
they don't understand is if you do that, you're going to get a completely shit product that no one wants to play.
Right.
So,
And this is EA we're talking about because they do own
yeah,
BioWare, right?
yeah.
Um, but
Like Blizzard, the other one, it was BioWare, Bethesda, and Blizzard were like I called them the three Bs back, 10, 15 years ago, and they didn't miss. And they've been missing for a long time now. Let's put it that way. And it's sad. It's really sad, and a
it
lot of
is.
it is because the old guard retired or moved on, or they got bought up by bigger companies who slowly shuffled the old guard out because they made too much money on salary,
Mm,
and they didn't want to pay that. So you get, but the main problem with that is the old guard are the ones who made all the great games. They're the ones with
yeah,
the ideas. They're the
yeah,
ones who know how to set this up and to set up a working office that can actually produce the damn shit.
right. No, that's
And
true. Yeah. And
that's where we're at with BioWare. That's where we're at with Blizzard. That's where we're at with all these
Bethesda.
Bethesda's.
Yeah.
When was the last time Bethesda put out a good game? Uh,
Yeah.
Fallout 4, and that wasn't great. It was good. It wasn't
No,
great.
it wasn't. And they're coming out with the Starfield next November.
Yeah.
We're a year away, guys.
Yep.
Which is way too soon, I think. It feels too soon. It does.
We'll see.
But we'll see. I mean, but if they screw that up, man, I think it might just wreck
Yeah,
them.
I don't. We may never get an Elder Scrolls 6 if that
Yeah,
happens.
that's
That might
true.
just be it.
But my favorite Dragon Age was the second one actually. But nevertheless, the Inquisition was fine. However, BioWare, it's EA's fault. I understand that. But BioWare came out with
Largely,
another
yes.
game not too long ago, the one where you're basically Iron Man, the power suit game,
Anthem,
Anthem,
yeah,
which
bomb.
I was excited as shit for, dude. And that game blew balls. I mean, my God, that game sucked, dude.
You also had Mass Effect Andromeda, which
Oh
was
my God.
just
Oh my God, dude.
awful.
Yo, yeah.
I mean, just think about this for a second. In like 2005 to like, I don't know when Mass Effect 3 came out, but that time frame, I think it was like 2010. That time frame between then and then, we had some awesome
Oh
games from
yeah.
BioWare. Just
Yeah.
awesome legacy legendary games. And since then, even their old, their old faithfuls with Mass Effect and Dragon Age. I mean, Inquisition was okay, but it was nowhere near as good as the first two games. And it's a shame. It's just and this is why it is. It's because the talent have left. The same thing happened with CD Projekt Red that most people didn't know about because they don't pay that close attention. The people who made The Witcher 3 are almost all gone. They just don't work at the company anymore. So of course you weren't going to get greatness out of them because they don't have the same developers. Like there's a serious talent gap in video games, and there's like a tenth of a percentage that are really really awesome at it, at doing this thing, at the programming and the development,
Yeah.
and then the rest are kind of just fillers who do the other stuff. And without that tier programming teams, you're not making a great game. You're just not. It doesn't matter how great your ideas are. It doesn't matter how many hours you put in or how hard you work. You have to have the talent with the skill there, or it's not going to happen. And a guy like him leaving, I'd be shocked if the next Dragon Age is anything but garbage. Shocked.
Yeah. No, this is bad news, dude. And I don't even have anything to bitch about. It's just sad, man. 'Cause I love the Dragon Age series. That's a lot of fun, but whatever. But this is number 4. This is the fourth major dev that's left this game. Something really ugly is going on with the over there, obviously, because it's we're being quoted. Differences is the word being
The
used.
craziest part about
Differences,
the video
creative
game industry,
differences.
no, yeah, what that means is he won't go woke enough for him.
Yep.
Um, the craziest thing about the video game industry right now is I think if you're gonna want quality, there's a few Western studios still out there that can produce it, but I think it's a lot of it's going to come from Asia. It's going to come from Japan and China. Some of these Chinese games are insane.
They're
They
gorgeous,
are
man. They
insanely
are gorgeous.
beautiful and they run like you can't believe.
Yeah, but they don't want you to play it. They don't care that you.
Well, they don't want you to play the ones they have now, but they have some coming that they're going to put out. They've already put out trailers and stuff for them, like that Wukong one,
Oh my
Black Myth.
God, dude.
It looks so good.
Yeah, it
Looks
does.
so
Yeah.
good.
Well, that's what slave labor does for you.
Yeah, apparently that's the problem. All right. Chester said it. Maybe we should think. Listen, Westerners, maybe we should just have the conversation.
Yeah.
Should we bring back slavery? I'm just
Should.
saying, maybe we should have that conversation.
I nominate the Mexicans.
Oh, God. Careful, Chester. They outnumber us.
They do. They do. And they're they're the ones that have had the longest history of slavery, other outside of us. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the blacks and the Arabs are the longest slavers, but yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
After YouTuber Casey Neistat falls victim to car break-in, Seth Rogen dismisses concerns over LA crime. I've never really felt violated any of the 15 or so times my car was broken into.
Now,
what does that even mean?
right. Here's the thing.
Imagine living there. Holy
I
shit.
know, but here's my question. The reason I put this up here, I don't really care about the actual story. My question is this: Seth Rogen is the perfect example of the woke Hollywood libtard.
Yeah.
He's the poster boy, right? So here's the question: does he really believe these kind of woke things, or is he just simply shilling the propaganda? I mean, and
Mm.
honestly, is it just simply he's a talking head for the politic, or does he really believe this?
I think he's a true believer. And what I mean by that is, I don't think he is a true believer. Like in his deepest parts of his psyche, I don't think he believes this. However, he wants to. So he
Uh,
will convince himself that this is reality and ignore all of his baser instincts and just common fucking sense to tell you this, so that when he says it, he's not actually lying because he's basically brainwashing himself. My counterpoint to Seth, this idea that that's just what it's like to live in a big city. Go to Tokyo.
or just go to a Midwestern city.
Well,
You know.
depending on which one, yeah. But Tokyo, it's like the biggest city in the world, or one of them, and they don't have that
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. No, it's probably the second largest. Well, China. It's hard to know, right? But
Well, right.
yeah. But even China, because I mean, the one thing people don't understand about Asia, there's not a lot of crime over here. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter which Asian country you're in. You can pretty
Kind of
much walk
happens
around.
when you just kill them. Never they commit a crime, just kill them.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
China, they kill drug dealers.
I
They
think
take
it
them out.
has. I think it has more to do with testosterone levels, to be honest with you. But
It
we're
doesn't
not
hurt.
going to get into that conversation. But if you truly believe, Mr. Rogan, that it's okay for someone to break into your car, then why do you own anything?
Yeah.
I mean, it's and he just made a movie, for instance, and you don't mind if I rant here for a second, with Ms. Silverman, Silver something, whatever her name, Sarah Silverman, I think is her name,
Yeah.
and Jews to the rescue, and they made themselves a Santa Clausy movie, Santa Inc., where she is playing a purple elf who is the first female Santa Claus. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's all woke and nonsense, and he plays a dumb Santa, stupid man who needs to be replaced because only women are roar, and all that kind of stuff. But typical Jews hating on Christmas again. It's like do you ever wonder why people hate you? I mean, you ever take a thought, right? But I mean, 'cause thousands of years, people hating on the Jews, they whine about it constantly. Oh my God, anti-Semitism! Well, there's a fucking
Third.
reason for it. All right. But beyond these idiots,
Now we know
Santa.
why Chester moved to Japan.
Well, no, as if I can get away from them over here. But I think it was Norway. Now they put out the commercial my wife showed me. All right. And now this commercial was for the post office, or as they would say in Norwegian, Posten. Okay. But it's post office commercial. Holidays coming up, get your stamps, shit like that. And the whole thing was about there's this guy, and he happens to get a glimpse of Santa, and Santa sees him. And then over the years, Santa finally works it out with using the post office to help him out. He can have gay sex with the man.
Oh.
Let that sink in. The Norwegian post office put a commercial out about gay Santa.
It's all so tiresome. At this point, I almost want China to win. At least I wouldn't have to endure that. Good lord.
Yeah.
Ah,
It's wow, dude. Leave other people's shit alone. Stop touching other people's shit, including Seth Rogen's shit. Don't touch his shit either.
yeah, yeah,
No,
please don't.
no
Please.
touching. Stop touching.
The worst part about Seth is, look at that man. How old do you think Seth Rogen is? Just guess. Take a shot.
42.
Nope. He's not even 40 years old.
Wow, really?
I think he looks like he's mid 40s, maybe almost 50. Because remember, he's got that red hair going for him too, right? So they don't usually age as fast. Apparently, having no soul ages you real quick.
Oh. Alan says having sex with Santa is just part of living in the big city. Fair enough. But I mean, it's really disturbing, and they can't help it. And the thing with it is, you know, we're I'm kind of crossed over into the gay thing, which of course Seth is a big proponent of. But for most people, we don't really give a shit what gay people do, right? I mean, who
Yeah,
cares? I got too much in my own life. I don't care what you do, dude. You do you, right? But they don't understand the difference between tolerance and acceptance. And I actually thought about this recently because I'm like, well, for most of human history, if you're gay and you get found out, you're either executed or you're banished or imprisoned or banished, right? That's most of human history. Very, very few cultures in throughout our history have had much tolerance at all for homosexuality. In our
yeah,
modern world, most of us are like, oh well, whatever, just don't hurt anybody. You do what you want to do, right? We don't care. However, I'm kind of starting to get why they killed them, right? It's not a no, no, seriously. It's not about the disease because that's the
correct.
knee-jerk reaction. Oh well, it's because of the disease. They didn't have medicines like that to deal with stuff. Well, that's not 100% true. They did have lots of medicines in the past, but it's not about the disease. It's about the psychological and social destruction that they cause because they're the type of people that poke the dead frog. They
Hmm.
can't help it. It's something to do with the whatever the derangement that's going on that has caused the one thing affects the other thing, right?
Right.
And I really think that's why it is because I mean, if you look at history, it seems a bit extreme. What we know is it just disease, therefore you're killing them all off. I mean, is that really? I mean, it seems extreme, right? It seems kind of
Hmm.
barbaric, kind of savage, but I don't think it had anything to do with that. I think it was about the social and psychological damage they cause.
Yeah, I think
A-
you're
a-
right.
yeah,
I
and
think if we actually listen to the people who are very anti that sort of thing, and actually not so much modern ones, but the old school ones, they would have told you that. They would have just used different words. They wouldn't have
yeah,
used scientific language because they didn't have it. They would have used more spiritual language. That it's a rot. It's a spiritual rot to your what? Oh, it's a spiritual rot to your, to your center and to your heart and your soul and all
yeah,
these things. And that's what they're saying. They're saying that you mentally, psychologically, uh, neurochemically, it does things to you that we don't know how to handle
yeah.
or how to fix,
We
and we
don't even
still don't.
try. We don't even
Yeah,
try. Yeah.
and
Um.
I think that's probably true. Unfortunately, it just is what it is, and it's very simple. I've said this before. Degeneracy spreads.
Yeah.
That's it. We
And
don't know why. We don't need to know why. We just need to know that it does.
well, it's a bit of an epiphany for me, because I
Yeah.
truly never gave a shit. I really don't. Right.
Neither do I.
But
It's when
but
they start doing it to kids. It's like, what are you
yeah,
doing? You won. You had what you said you wanted, and now all you're doing is making the old Baptist ladies from the 80s right.
yeah,
You're just proving them right when they said it was all about diddling kids. That's what it's
yeah.
been about since day one. And you're making their argument for them when you start doing this stuff to kids and start promoting it to children and turning Santa Claus gay. Like, what's the point of that? The
Yeah.
only reason to do
It's
that
to
is
insult.
to insult and to direct it at children.
Yep.
That's it.
That's right. And of course, Joe Rogan, whether he's gay or not, doesn't matter. He's part of the same sickness. It's the
Yeah.
same dementia that's going on with these people. But oh, okay, Seth. Okay, it upsets me because that's my son's name. Yeah, but
Oh no.
I know you're named after Adam's third kid, where my son's named after the god of the desert and night.
I like
Sorry.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's good.
From one woke to another.
Oh boy. I saw this. Star Trek host Will Wheaton claims Kyle Rittenhouse's Judge Schroeder has a racist little white nationalist heart.
Yeah.
All right, listen, Will, buddy, amigo, friendo, cucko. You've never met an actual white nationalist?
No,
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
guaranteed.
You've never spoken to one. You wouldn't know what one
Seen
looked like.
one. Yeah.
You maybe have seen Spencer on TV. He's not one either. Sorry to tell you, he might think he is, but he isn't. You know how I know? Because he's just a liberal. White nationalism would be a right wing position, not a liberal position. And
Yeah.
he's not one. He
No.
simply isn't. He's just a racist liberal. and he's
Well,
just more honest about it. That's it.
yeah. Well, the thing with that judge, I think he was actually too tolerant. I
He
mean,
was way too tolerant.
because he understood the camera was on him,
Yeah.
or not. He might just be liberal. But he was honest at least. So
No, he's
that's
a good
good.
judge.
Yeah, he was
I've
fine.
looked at his cases over, like I went back and checked once I found out who it was. He's a good judge. He's
Yeah,
not perfect, but he's none of them are. But he was more than up to the task.
yeah, I think
He's
so.
just a small town, which Kenosha's not that small, but smaller than like Chicago.
Sure.
Small town, small city judge, and they're like that. They're a lot of them are like that. They're either old or they're just it's a job more
Yeah.
than anything to them,
Well,
and that's how they treat it.
it's
They're
also
not.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
Well, no, it's also a huge responsibility.
Yes,
Yeah.
but the way like some people were coming down on him uh because he was trying to like play games with the jury and he was being very talkative and just would tell stories and he's an old guy, so that's what old guys do. And two,
Yeah.
to him, this is just another trial. Like and he was very explicit about that he didn't want this to come off as anything other than that.
Yeah,
He
because
was trying his best to stay neutral and keep the trial from dramatics,
and he was
which is one of
also
the reasons he didn't throw it out when he easily could have
well,
thrown it out.
and he should have, to be honest with you. But once again, the cameras are on him because there's no
Yes,
reason that trial should have ever happened. I mean, it's
correct.
clearly highly political. But I put the Will Wheaton thing up here not because we all know what's all these liberals have lost their mind over a little boy, but because they just have no control of themselves. Uh,
Because
but
he's more of a man than they are.
but Wesley here, um,
Wesley.
he is one of the most broken libtards I've ever seen. And I know we just came from Seth Rogen. I get it. But Seth Rogen also has a little bit of a sexual humor to him on occasion. I think he gets himself laid on occasion, right? Oh,
Yeah,
he has actual some man
he
kind
doesn't
of.
come off as a simp to me.
No,
I don't know
not at
him
all.
personally, but from what I've seen, he's at least a dude.
He's a dude.
Will's
Yeah.
just a pussy.
This
Like,
is
there's
a
no other way to put it.
100% pussy. He's a simp
Yeah,
from in the nth degree. And if you go and just take some time for fun and go look at Will Winton's Twitter or Facebook, just for fun, go check it out because this is the biggest simp on the planet. He is an
right.
absolute pussy. He has no balls whatsoever. He literally hides under his wife's skirt. He has a wife. So something happened. But this guy is insanely bad, and actually, I don't usually give a shit, but it bothers me a little bit because Will Wheaton is a big proponent of board games. He has a
Yeah.
YouTube channel on it. He supports board games. Of course, now if it's the right board game, now, of course, with him.
Oh Lord.
So I hate to see it. What happened, dude? How did this boy who had success and everyone knew he was a household name, dude. He's Wesley Crusher. Everybody knew Will Wheaton. How did he? What happened to him, dude?
If I had to guess, and I don't say this lightly, a lot of child abuse, a lot of sexual child abuse that happens to young pretty boys in Hollywood. That for
Maybe.
some reason nobody wants to talk about for real, and nobody wants to actually solve that problem. But we all know it's a thing. Like it's not. It's an open secret. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Um, that's if I had to guess, that's what it was. It broke him, and he's never actually had the therapy or whatever he needs to correct it. And now he's what in his mid 40s. I don't think it's ever getting corrected. So
No, it's really bad, and of course, who cares about your opinion, Will? But everyone's got one, I guess. But I saw a picture of him recently. Let me find it real quick here. Will Wheaton. Uh,
oh god.
no, no, no. This tells you everything you need to know. Oh, it's over here. Okay. Now I gotta find the picture. Do I have to really go search for it deep? Oh, I can't. It's not here off the top.
I think
But
I've seen the picture you're looking for of him getting vaccinated.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
here. Come on. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Let's try here. Oh, that's not the best angle though. Here it is. This one right here. Holy shit, dude.
I
Look at
mean,
it.
the amount of soy. Oh
How
my
I mean
god.
the it's just screams at you. And banish banish racist to the void shirt he's going on with his very feminine tattoos, which look painted on. I don't even think they're real. But I mean, god damn it, boy.
Like, listen, Will. The worst part about Will is Will has a decent build. He's not a tiny guy, right? He's not a manlet. He looks like one here because he hasn't eaten an actual meal in about 5 years, it looks like. He could actually be in pretty good shape. He could actually have a nice physique on him. And he's so weak as a human, not even as a man, just as a human, that he would never be able to push himself to do that ever.
Yeah, yeah.
He's just a weak person. And look
And
at that. I mean, good lord,
it's not the
the weakness.
skinniness. It's okay. You can be skinny. There's nothing wrong with that. It's look at the way he's sitting. Look at the
Oh,
body
so.
position.
And
Look at it. It's so effeminate. It's so
you want to know what the most
cowardly.
dangerous creature on planet Earth is? You're looking at it right now. A cowardly man.
Yeah, that
Because
is fair.
there's nothing more dangerous. See, strong men who know they're dangerous have to hold themselves back from,
Yeah.
hurting people. This guy couldn't hurt anybody unless he had a firearm, and even then he probably wouldn't hit
Yeah, I kind of hate that. I'd rather break a few people a day.
him.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, dude. I mean, it isn't the skinniness. You don't have to be skinny. You don't have to be fat. You don't have to be muscular. You don't have to be any of those things. But you do have to be what you are, male. Just
Carry
that. That's
yourself
minimum.
like a man with some
Right.
dignity.
Look at it's so pathetic. I mean, and it outrages you in your mind. It's like I don't know why. Of course, I wouldn't do it because I'm a controlled human being. But my instinct in the back of my head is saying, kill it.
Yeah, no, it's because
Why?
it's dangerous. Your instincts are telling you that this is a threat to my tribe because you can't trust him because he doesn't carry himself with any kind of masculinity. See, the thing about masculinity, the reason they demonize it is because it's our superpower as men. It's how we recognize each other and how we recognize our position
Yeah.
on the hierarchy of life. Like when you see a big, strong, tough some bitch, you're probably way more relaxed around him than you would be around this slime ball
Yeah.
because
No.
he's a slime ball.
He is. And when I look at Seth here, I'm just showing the Rogan's picture. For him, I just slap him in the back of the head, idiot. I mean,
Yeah, well,
but
you
that's it.
dumbass.
That's the dumbass, right? That's the only reaction from him. It's just dumbass, good, good simp in there, brother. But this
Right.
over here, this is something that I don't like.
Yeah, I wouldn't let that around anybody in my family. If
Yeah,
if like if my niece brought somebody looking like that around that she was dating, I would be fuming. I
yeah,
would do everything in my power to put a stop. You can't I'm telling you, you can't trust him. He would definitely stab everybody in the back because he ain't gonna do it in the front. He ain't got that kind of nuts. So you can't have people you can't trust like that around your inner circle. And that's what it is. When you see men like that,
yeah,
they're more dangerous than an actual dangerous man.
yeah.
Because a dangerous man you can genuinely suss out just by looking at.
Well, you can negotiate with it as well.
And you can negotiate. Right, they're
Yeah.
in control.
Yeah, but look at he's got a heartbeat tattoo on his forearm. I bet you it's probably he has a kid. And he tattooed the kid's sonogram's heartbeat on his arm. I bet you that's what that is. Yeah, stop it. Stop it. Will Wheaton.
I mean, look
Wesley.
how he's sitting there. Good lord.
Yeah, no, he's like, and I told him.
Oh my gosh.
This guy is horrible. I'm telling you for fun. Go take a look at his Twitter and Facebook. This guy is unhinged.
Yeah.
Unhinged. Okay, moving on here. Oh my god.
The Wheel of Time actress Madeline Madden claims TV show is celebration not only of diverse people, but diverse ways of thinking and perspectives.
Okay. Now, for
Oof.
for you folks, I watched the first three episodes. I did it for them,
Uh-huh.
Thundero.
For them, you
Uh,
suffer for their success. I love it.
my God, I suffered, dude. Here's the thing: Amazon has the money to do things right, but they're not, right?
Hmm.
And now, to before I get into any of the reasons why this is this TV show is horrible, um, I have to say, um, it just is a bad show. Just
Yeah.
bad filmmaking in general. The acting is boring. Nobody stands out. There's nobody interesting. It doesn't make very much sense. It's just bad in and of itself. And that's not a good sign because Amazon keeps threatening us with these big, big, big time series they're coming out with. Right? They're still mulling over Conan. They got the Lord of the Rings sex orgy party coming out. And this is kind of a test of it. It's not good, just in and of itself. That is very disappointing. However, Mr. Jordan's Wheel of Time uh, is a really good book series. I'd suggest you go read it. It's actually is good if you like reading. You'll enjoy it. But
It's
go ahead.
it's humongous though.
It is,
Be
but it's good.
prepared.
Yeah, it's good though. It is interesting. It's well written. This I don't know what this TV show is. It's not the Wheel of Time, that's for sure. Not in any way. It seems quite clear to me that someone was given a list of character names and then they made a thing. They clearly didn't read it, right?
It's
Um,
made a thing.
it's just made a thing. Um, this, as you can see, we have, of course, one of every color, which in the Wheel of Time, there are people from different places. But here's the thing. Do you mind if I put logic on top of something again? I know you guys yell at me when I do that, but here's the thing with the BBC and all these other groups that keep wanting to have one of every color living in a village that has been there for centuries. If you have a group of people living together, even if say there's a war, and you do have a lot of people, refugees falling into an area and creating a village or a town, and they come from diverse racial, ethnic bloodlines. After a few centuries, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between one and the other because they're
Right.
going to blend into some manner of mulatto, right?
Yes.
That is why we have so many different color groups. Is because of various cataclysms and various disasters that have kind of left us stuck in our little valleys for a while. That's why people look different. So you putting a town that has literally 1,000 years of fucking history, and you got one of every goddamn color, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Any. Now, if you
Yeah.
want, fuck them white people, fine. Make them all Asian, like this Korean actor here, or make them all Latino, or make them all black. I don't give a shit, but don't do that. It breaks my immersion instantly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense. If we're talking about a big city, a cosmopolitan city, fine. But that's not what we're doing, right? And it's
Right.
all because of this woke dumbassery. And it takes you out of it. One. Two, this is not just woke. Okay, let me let you understand. This is not just woke. This is feminist supremacy. I shit you not. I'm not being hyperbolic. This is fuck all men. Men are horrible. Men make it filthy. Quote from the goddamn show: Men
Oh
make it
God.
filthy. Right? This is the most hateful feminist supremacy I have ever seen put to film. And they spent a little bit of money on it. Right? So this is not some little dumbasses indie film to, screech to the wind. This is a triple A production, right? It's really insufferable. It is horribly insufferable. And the most insufferable part of it is it's not the Wheel of Time at all. Yes, in the Wheel of Time, in Jordan's story, men can't use magic. They can't connect to the source, or they shouldn't connect to the source. But there's a reason for it. And the whole story in the end is the solution to it, right? There's a reason for it. That's what happened. They saw that, oh, only women can use magic, and they just went full on. You literally have women, sorcerers, hunting down and murdering filthy men. These are the words coming out of their mouth, murdering them because they're men who dare to even think about using magic, right? And it's not done ironically. It's not done to say, oh, that's the bad guy, they're going to get it. They are the good guy. That's now I said I said I'm going to wait and see it, didn't I? And I did. This is way worse than I could have expected it would be. It's really over the top, dude. It's really over the top.
Lovely. Yeah, it's not surprising. Anybody who thinks you're going to get anything other than that out of Amazon, you're out of your mind.
It's sad.
Bezos is all in on it. He's all in on it from day one. It's gross at the end of the day. That's the best way to describe it.
It's hateful.
It's just gross.
It's pure
hateful nonsense.
It's hateful. Yeah.
And I've said it on here multiple times. Hate is a poison. Yep. Hate is, you will not ever generate greatness through hatred. All hate can do is generate destruction. And we've seen this over and over and over and over throughout history. When you allow yourself to be a slave to your own hatreds, you never, ever do anything good. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. And yeah, Jeff, it isn't. I mean, that's my point. That's why I said that from the beginning before I started ranting. It's just not good anyway. It just in general is poorly done. But I'm getting into more of the politic behind it, and there's a lot of it. Let me give you. I imagine many of you haven't read The Wheel of Time. Let me let you understand what's going on. The lady in the middle there, which she is, I think she's probably the only one that's somewhat fairly cast, actually. She is a wizardly lady, a wizardress, and in this world, only women use magic, because if men use it, it turns them mad, and they do, because there's a problem. There's something that needs fixing, right? It's not because evil men. There's an actual break in the weave, right? But anyway, she is in a rush. Here, she and many of her sisters have gone out into the world because they have a prophecy that's coming true that the dragon shall be reborn. And the dragon is one that's able to push the darkness back. Yeah, standard fantasy crap, right? But this
Messiah stuff.
Right, Messiah stuff. The boy on the right should be the dragon. Of course, in the end, it's going to be the girl standing next to her, which is nonsense, but that's what they're going to do. But here's the big problem. You notice that the boy next to the Korean guy, the girl next to the lady in blue, and the two dudes on the end, you notice they're all adults, right? Young adults, but they're adults. In the book, they're kids. They just hit puberty. They're all exactly the same age, and they just hit puberty, right? So let me ask you, Thundera, why would you take a story about a bunch of terrified children? They're desperately trying to get to safety because the literal Voldemort is trying to murder them. And then a big part of the story is the fact that these little kids are terrified and they're in such danger. They're not, they all kind of have their little moment, but they're just kids. It's part of the body of the story, right? Why do you think you would make them adults? Why would you do that? Why would you change the story? Yeah, so you can have them fucking. Yeah. And of course, there is no sex in the book. That's not the point. Because they're kids, but that's what they have to do.
I've never read Wheel of Time, but from what I gather from people who've talked about it, it sounds very, I don't know if you'd say high fantasy, but at least high concept fantasy.
I'd call it high fantasy, sure. There's magic and there's stuff like that.
Typically not a lot of sex in that kind of fantasy, just baseline.
No.
Because believe it or not, modern world, you can make great stories without sex. I know. It sounds like heresy, but it can in fact be done.
It can be.
Um,
It should be. Yeah.
and that's a shame because that's exactly what they're going to do with Lord of the Rings too. They're adding a
They
whole
already
bunch of
told
sex
us.
to it.
Yeah.
And there's just no reason to.
Doesn't
There's
make sense.
no good reason to, other than you're perverts and degenerates and want to spread your perversion and degeneracy. That's it. Like, is this story added to because these particular characters are now banging? No. I guarantee you it's not. I guarantee you it adds no depth to the story.
Yeah.
Yet, for some reason, it had to happen. They had to have it. It's just, ugh. It's just, ugh, is what it is, Chester. I don't even hate it. It disgusts me. It's ugh.
Yeah, this in particular is pretty bad. We joke about a lot of stuff and just kind of have a laugh at the silliness. And I get you. And the thought, yeah, you're not wrong. But you know, they've taken a pretty good series, a pretty good book, I think, and you know, just bastardized the hell out of it, dude. I mean, they
Yeah.
twisted this so ugly in such an ugly way.
Yeah.
Even the big mulatto fellow here, the blacksmith, they even for some reason had him married and had him kill his wife. Well, what's that for? Of course, they're kids. You know, he didn't have a wife. But on and on and on. This only, and I'm not going to watch any more of it. I ain't putting myself through it. But I just have never seen anything that was. I mean, female supremacy is the word I put on this. Not
Yeah.
woke. It's beyond that, dude.
Terrible.
It's what a shame.
That's a shame because my wife literally just asked me the other day about it, and I don't really know because
Oh,
I've never
run,
read the books.
run,
And she's like, "Is that any good?" I was like, "I honestly don't know."
run
And
away.
I've had a couple people. Adrian's watched it, and it seems like he wants to be very mad at it because he's read the Wheel of Time series,
Yeah.
but he's also given it a chance. And then one of the other guys I hang out with a lot, he's also watching it. But as much as I love the guy, he has the wrong opinions on all media. So,
Yeah.
so I take his endorsement with as much salt as I can. And it's a shame because I was actually thinking about checking it out. It would be nice to have something to watch, but we have the new season of Witcher coming and a new season of Cobra Kai coming.
Yeah.
So I'll watch them.
See,
Um,
The Witcher kind of has silliness in it too, but I watch that all day before I watch
yeah.
this.
And the thing about The Witcher is, yeah, okay, it has the racial stuff that doesn't really make sense
Or needed. Yeah.
or needed, but most of the rest of it is at least competent or quite good, in fact. So you can ignore it. This sounds like it's mediocre, so that especially makes it worse because that's all you get to see now, right?
Yeah,
because now
no,
you can't shut your brain off because you're just watching B-level at best
It is poor.
acting and
Yeah,
stuff.
It is poor.
And that sucks because if you're going to do this stuff, at least make it good. At least make it so good that I can ignore your nonsense and enjoy something in it. Like The Witcher does. I mean, but besides the race swap stuff, there's not a bunch of woke stuff. At least there wasn't in the first season. So I can ignore the race swap stuff. I understand why they do it. I think it's stupid. I don't think it's necessary. I think audiences are intelligent enough to enjoy a product without having their color be pandered to. You know, like we've done since forever. But if they're gonna if I can't get rid of wokeness entirely in Hollywood, if I can't completely marginalize it, if the one thing I have to concede is race swaps for some characters, depending on the character, fine. But when you start doing nonsense like aging up characters just so you can have sex scenes with them, that's just not only woke and wrong, that's creepy. That's creepy.
It is creepy. And they do it intentionally. I will say I can't remember the word Jordan used for it, but the guy who plays the bard, basically,
Yeah.
that's the only scene that was worthy, and that he did that was pretty good. That guy did a good job. That was good acting. But that was pretty worthy. And the only other positive note I would say is one of the major bad guys in this is a black guy. And good actor
oh my,
too.
that's
Yeah.
not allowed. How are they going to redeem him for the end of the show?
Exactly, because he's a real bad guy. Yeah. So
Like,
that I saw that and I was
at
like,
least
oh,
The
okay.
Witcher also had Henry Cavill, which obviously awesome, just everything he's in,
He is good as
and
The Witcher.
his acting as Geralt was amazing, and the action as him as Geralt was amazing.
Oh yeah.
So
well.
because he actually committed to it and he put in the effort, you could see it, like it was obviously important to him. So I haven't watched this show. the action, is there any, and is it any good?
No, no.
Both questions or the
Uh,
one? Which?
Both. Yeah, no.
Oh, oh no.
The lady on the
Oh,
left, she's the most awesome badass ever. Which is she's boring, she's slow, you know. The lady in the middle
oh.
has a big old epic magic throwdown, but it could have been better. It wasn't horrible though, but it wasn't great. But I don't know. You got to find a way to do that sensibly. However, the thing with Henry and his Witcher character he plays there, Geralt. Um, the you could tell how much he practiced because the it's not only the speed at which he's moving, it's the body position.
Yes.
And because
And the firmness at which
yes,
he moves that
it's
sword around. It's not flailing around.
it's so smooth.
Yes.
I mean, I've been I'm it's not like I'm good or anything like that, but I've been doing fencing since I was a kid. Sword fighting. I'm a fantasy nerd, right? And I've always done that stuff. I've done kendo over here. And when you have the right body position, it looks good,
Yeah.
right? And Henry really, really pulled that off. Very sweet, very sweet. I have no complaints about his Geralt at all. I think he
Yeah.
did a great job. But of course, this lady and the other type of action in this is kind of the typical people who don't put any effort or work in whatsoever,
Oh, like
and
Iron
it's
Fist.
just yeah, it's silly. Yeah, like Iron Fist, exactly. It doesn't look
Yeah.
good. It just looks slow. I mean, if I look at it and I can kick your ass, that's not good, dude. That's
Yeah,
not
you're
good.
supposed to be a trained badass
Yeah,
super
I
warrior,
should be
but I'm like, oh, I can
nothing.
beat you up.
I
But
should
it,
be a wet towel, right? But
like I've said on here before, a lot of experts who are honest will tell you that if somebody who was an actual genuine badass warrior from back in the day, whether it be swords or spears or whatever,
mhm.
actual melee combatant warrior from back then would just wipe the floor with probably just about anybody today.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's just because they lived it. It wasn't a sport to
Oh,
them
it's life and
necessarily. It
death,
was a way
baby.
of life. So it wouldn't even be close. And we know that a lot of warriors were just insanely strong compared to most today. They just had it because they just trained constantly. So they were really, really tough and really, really fit. And obviously they didn't have the advantages we have with medicine and things. So if they were alive into their 20s, they were probably had an insanely strong immune system. Uh,
Yeah, that's true.
so
Um,
they became really tough warriors. And my point is, watching somebody try to be that now, who is clearly not either had the time, which is usually the problem, or the concern to put in the work, is frustrating because it's obvious that that's what's happened. Especially a lot like Iron Fist is a great example. The choreography and the fight scenes in that show were just
it was
terrible.
lame. Yeah, it was lame. The girl was the best thing in it. But
Yep.
the Korean fellow here, who's basically being a samurai, he's it's very standard Jedi, Geki, type of fighting, and he's okay. It's fine. But if you want to see, like a good example is like with, say, combat archery. We always have these
Mm-mm.
Robin Hoods, like Kevin Costner's a good example, and the way they're doing archery is kind of the way any of us would do it, right? Go find a
Right.
video. You can find there's people who do historical recreation or anthropologists who study weapons and stuff like that. And go find you can find swordsmen to do it too, but go find a combat archer and watch how
Yeah.
they move around the field. Or the target course or whatever they're doing, it's not at all what you would expect it to be. It is
No.
fast, it is dynamic, and it is freaking deadly, dude. Those guys didn't have to stand back in rows like they push you in Hollywood. Those guys could move through the combat field, and they were absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on from this. But don't run from this. This is
Yeah.
bad shit, dude. This is bad
Just
juju.
wait till the Lord of the Rings comes out. Just
Oh
wait.
my
Just
god, damn it. Yeah.
the internet is going to break. Amazon reportedly near oh god damn it reportedly nearing deal to produce Mass Effect TV series.
Okay.
Why?
Well,
Just listen. Mass Effect was great for 2 games. The third game was good. Well, was okay, and then a trash fire at the end.
yeah.
Um, this story has been told. Shepard's story has been told. Now I hear they're planning on bringing Shepard back to life in the next Mass Effect game.
There's no need for that.
Shepard's story has been told. There's just no good reason to do this. Now, if you're going to do something just set in that universe,
Yeah.
maybe you could do something cool. But I don't have any faith in Amazon.
That's
They
the
just
problem in it. That's the problem.
they need something to give me something, right? Like Netflix, yeah, they make a lot of crap, but they also make some pretty cool stuff. Witcher being the example we just talked about. It wasn't great by any means. It wasn't, change the world awesome or anything. It wasn't Breaking Bad, but it was still okay. It was still pretty good. The action was really good, and like we said, Cavill as Geralt was amazing.
And the girl as Yennefer was fine too. I thought she did a good job.
Yeah, she's a fine actress. So if we can get at least that level of quality, I'd be happy. The problem is Amazon so far hasn't proven they can give even that level of quality.
It's a bad track record, isn't it? And it's unfortunate
Yeah.
because if we didn't have Amazon in front of it, we'd probably be saying like, no one asked for this, but it could be good.
It'd be good, yeah.
But
It may be cool.
Amazon
They could do
attached to
something
it,
like pre Shepard, like one of the Spectres or something. Follow a Spectre around
right?
or something like
You're
that.
gonna get the female version of Shepard. You know that's
Of
what you're gonna
course,
get. You know it.
of course, and she'll save the whole galaxy without breaking a nail.
Yeah,
Watch.
I am sure. Yeah.
Ah,
So I
Mass
mean,
Effect 3 was a mistake. That's all. That's
well,
the first two games were so good, and the third one was okay. The problem with the third one is not obviously the ending was just nonsense, but up until that point, kind of wasn't that good either. Like the gameplay wasn't as solid as the second one. It had weird AI that did some really stupid shit. And that's a shame because that was the game that I think a lot of people expected to be like the game for that series because that's what they said it was going to be. It was going to be a trilogy and everything was going to matter, and nothing mattered.
No,
Nothing mattered in the end.
Andromeda was bad.
Oh God,
This is a wheel time picture, by the way. And the black guy right here, he's real bad dude, real bad dude.
bad boy.
And it's just interesting. And this actor's not bad either. Um, but um, but yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. It could be fun. I would rather see him just set it in the universe itself and not care about Shepard at all.
Yeah.
Just make something in that universe. It could be fun, but Amazon, they can't get out of their own damn way, dude. And it's what a shame. What a damn shame.
All the
Eh,
money in the world, they could make something spectacular, and what do we get?
yeah.
What do
Well,
we
that
get?
that Wheel of Time debut, episode 1, was tons of people watched it. It was huge amount of people watching it. Now they're not going to keep watching, I guarantee that. Because that if you're a male, they not only don't want you watching it, they hope you die. All right. So any man's not going to continue watching that. There's no way, dude. It's so against you. And most women, I know it's a shock to Hollywood and such, but most women kind of like men.
A bit. They seem to. Yeah.
They seem to. So, I don't.
And then you have the boys too, man. That first season of the boys was really good,
It
and then
could have
that
been better, but it was okay.
second season was a damn just train wreck.
Yep.
Just oh man.
Politic.
I guess they have Invincible, and that was really good. But that has literally the same exact. The main creator is doing it, right?
Yeah.
Kirkman's doing it. So, I mean, if it's anybody's going to screw it up, I guess it'd be on him if he screws up his own thing. And I think that kind of gives him wiggle room because Kirkman's still a young guy. I think he's my age, so it wasn't as hard to translate it. Plus, it's coming from a comic book, which is already a visual medium. Makes it a lot easier.
Pretty good comic too.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I have no faith in Amazon.
Roger says, "What about female Shepherd?" Well, Roger, aren't you kind of sick of every damn thing having a female lead for the past 15 years? Aren't you tired yet, dude? Every damn thing. If you asked me a decade ago, female lead, I don't care. I watch it. If it's good, it's good. I give a shit. But we're 15 years deep, dude. And every damn thing has a female lead. Every damn thing, especially if it's action based or cop based, or there's any kind of CEO or any kind of person in charge. Now, it's the only thing that's changed is not only now are they female, they're black females. That's the change, right?
Yeah.
I'm just I'm done, dude. It's enough for me. I mean, I don't care. I mean, you can make a good story with a female lead, of course you can. But everything,
Yeah,
everything,
yeah, yeah. It's tiresome at
it
this
is
point.
tiresome.
But I think it could be. I think you give it to a competent studio with a competent executive producing team, and obviously you need good writers. You could make something really cool with Mass Effect.
Just
That's a really good universe,
yeah,
really well fleshed out. Has solid rules that aren't you typically broken in the games.
shiny high
Follow the
tech.
rules. Yeah, yeah. You could do something really cool. It could be a modern version of Star Trek. Really could, honestly.
Yeah, you could,
But
and more edgy, and doesn't have the intention. Roddenberry's intention with Star Trek was that humanity has defeated its demons, right?
yes,
You can have a more normal, modern, true sci-fi story with Mass Effect. They have that one, The Expanse, that came out, and it was okay. But that's more of a dirty, rough, just on the edge of learning how to do this shit. This is full on. These people are star travelers, right?
they're
Uh,
interstellar.
they're interstellar for sure. So it could be cool. But anyway, moving on because it won't be. Right?
It sure won't. Hawkeye actor Jeremy Renner reveals standoff with Marvel over demand for more time to spend with daughter. I said, fine, recast me. You know what? I respect that, Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy. Claps for Jeremy.
I respect that. You know what? He don't need the money. He's only got one life and wants to spend it with his daughter. I can't hate him for that.
And he
He's
got
given
butt
how much
ugly anyway.
well, yeah, how much more blood and sweat does he have to give to these corporate leeches
Yep.
before he can walk away with his head up? I think he's done enough.
Yeah.
I think he was great as Hawkeye. I had no complaints of his Hawkeye. Um,
Now,
I love that. Well, first of all, I hope that's a true story. It could be bullshit. I hope it's a true story. And if it is, I have much respect for Mr. Renner. From all accounts, Jeremy's a pretty cool guy.
yeah, and this is a snapshot from the new movie, of course, where she's handing the mantle anyway, and that's probably what he was talking about. This is out of the comic book. This is the Olympic archer girl, the new Hawkeye, and she's just the bestest ever. Even though that comic book failed instantly, no one read it, no one bought it, and it doesn't even existed anymore. But
Yeah.
whatever, she's in the movies. But just take a look here. How dumpy this girl is. Look at this picture, dude. Look at how he's standing, heroic. He's a little dude, but look at it. He's selling that shit, dude. He's selling it. Look at him. See it?
Yep.
Look at
Yeah.
her. Look at her body shape. Look at the way how dumpy she is. Look at
In
this shit,
five,
dude.
10 years, when the MCU has fallen all the way off, which it already kind of has, but let's be generous. And people are asking why, what happened? Was it just superhero fatigue? Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Yeah,
The
probably.
other part of it is that picture right there.
Yeah,
You have men like Jeremy Renner who understand what his job is visually and does it,
yeah.
and you have young ladies taking their place who do not and don't do it.
Don't give a shit. No one's even
Yeah,
telling them. I mean, why didn't the
yeah.
director say, "Stand up straight, God damn it! You're
Get up straight,
oppressing me."
get in better shape. You should be fit looking. You should
You should
look
be.
slim or muscular, one way or the other. You should look like a warrior.
Major dumpy.
Jeremy looks like an old warrior, like a old worn down fighter. That's what
As
he's
he
built
should,
like.
as he should.
Yeah,
But here's a problem you do have, and I understand this a little bit, because this is another no neck girl, and of course they're trying to hide it. But why do we get so many of these no neck girls these days? Well, it's because the male actors are so little, right? And
yeah.
when you get a woman to be small enough, they just kind of get into that scrunched up phase of biology. Because he's doing a good job here. He's selling it as he should be, but he's such a little man. That's a problem because
Well, we
must be
can't have
smaller.
masculinity. No masculine men are permitted. And the ones that they do permit that have masculine physiques are very soft men, typically.
Hmm.
And, like, just the way they carry themselves are very soft. Um, it's a serious problem. And it's one of the reasons why you can just go back 20 years and look at who was being cast as the male leads of some of these big movies, like your Brendan Frasers and your
Arnold
Keanu Reeves,
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzeneggers, Stallones. Like Stallone's not a big guy either, but you don't really know that unless he's
No.
standing next to somebody tall because he
Well, but
carries
he's
himself.
he's taller than this though. Um,
Well, yeah,
yeah, and Schwarzenegger isn't necessarily very. He's shorter than me. I've met Schwarzenegger. He's definitely shorter
yeah,
than
he's
I
not
am.
that tall.
But
He's
of
not a
course,
giant
no.
by
But
any
he's
means.
a normal sized man. These are
Yeah.
undersized men, and I'm not picking
Yes.
on Jeremy at all. I'm just saying that he got an opportunity. He got cast. So he's trying to take it. But that's the reason why you're getting these scrunched up girls because they must be smaller than these little dudes. And that woman right there is probably 5 foot, right? Or maybe
Could be.
under,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, it just does no. And I really wish they had gone this route.
Yeah.
Age up
Me
the
too.
daughter 5 years. She's an adult. Have her as the new Hawkeye. Do a legacy. It would have been better. And look at, oh Jesus Christ, dude! Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! Look at him standing there, statuesque. He's just, look at her. She's bent. She doesn't even know how to stand up straight. I mean, God, am I wrong to be upset about this bent back girl who can't even doesn't even understand the word
I don't
posture?
even think she could be a good archer with that posture.
No
My
way. No,
lord.
no way. Yeah. Oh, she's standing kind of straight up here.
Yeah, she's taller than him. That's the problem. Look at.
Oh, you're
There you go.
right. That's the problem. They have to bend her over. Ah, dude, you caught it. You caught
Yep.
it. Yeah, yeah. Just slouch over a little bit. Okay, that's
Stop
better.
casting manlets to play superheroes, and you wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah, and they got a little perspective, forced perspective here as well, which helps them out.
Yep.
But
Yeah, he's standing a good 6, 7 inches in front of her. If you could see their feet right now,
yeah,
she's
yeah,
back just a little bit, and he's up just a little bit, so he looks a little bit taller or as
yeah.
tall as her. But she's probably a good 2, 3 inches taller than him. I bet.
Even though he understands how to frame a shot better than she does, though
Yes.
he
Well, that's
does.
the other problem is a lot of these guys are professional. They know how to do this.
They gotta be.
The
They
casting
gotta
for the
earn it.
men of the MCU was phenomenal. Every single one of them was a great casting. Even the ones that didn't make it were still really good castings. They just didn't make it for other reasons or were changed out. But the male casting especially, absolutely phenomenal from day one. Like I don't know who was in charge of that. I don't know if it was one person or an agency or something, but they were on it. They killed it from day one.
Now, why do you think in this shot here he's in the Clovis position? Why do you think he chose to do that?
Probably to make her look more powerful.
Maybe because I
Because
mean,
that position there is not a position that a powerful person stands in when they want to be
no, man.
powerful.
If you're a male, you should never stand this way ever.
Yes.
This is instinctual though. It is an instinctual position for a beta or or even a delta to take. But
Yes.
yeah, don't do that. Remind yourself not to do that. Yeah, don't
Hands
stand
at your
like that.
sides, gentlemen.
Hands at
Hands
your
at your
sides or
sides.
behind your back.
Yes.
Not
You
in
can put
not.
them on your hips too if you're out of breath, but actually on your hips, not like Will Wheaton was doing, where they're up underneath his tits, so he looks like he's standing like a woman.
Yeah.
Don't do that because that looks very effeminate. But you can put a power stance is okay in the right circumstances.
Well,
But that position there is a sign of submission. That's what
it
that
is a
is.
submissive sign. It's covering you're protecting your vitals. But
Yes.
it's instinctual. But there's a reason why women look like that when they stand with their hands on their waist because their Adonis belt is higher, right?
Yes.
That there's a biological and anatomical reason why women look that way when their hands are on their hips, and it's higher because it is higher. Their Adonis belt is just simply higher. Men should never artificially raise their hands above their. These are basic etiquette shit. Didn't your daddy teach you something? Jesus.
I actually learned it from a supervisor at one of my first jobs. He because I would stand with my hands on my hips, just as how I stood when I was out, like because it was a physical job. So I'd be a little out of breath, and I'd stand there like that, catch my breath, and he'd walk up to me and be like, I like that power stance." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" He's like, "That's how you should stand, right there. I like that." I was like, "Okay." So I just took it that like that was a good thing
Yeah.
for some reason. Eventually, he explained it to me, but for like the first month, that's what he kept telling me that
Yeah.
you stand with power stances. I like that. I was like, oh, I do. I didn't know.
Well, old men sharing knowledge. It's a good thing.
Hmm.
Wisdom, right? Eric says Chester's starting a Hollywood women's etiquette class where all the women will learn posture with books on their heads. Dude, do not knock posture, Eric. The position is taught to bouncers in the U.S. nowadays to quickly block blows from an untrusted assailant. Uh, yeah, no, there are things they teach us as a bouncer. How to stand and how to position yourself is part of it. It's a
Yeah.
job, and you
Well, a
therefore
lot
you
of
have to be
bouncers, I
trained in
would
it.
I would assume a lot of bouncers stand like that as well because they don't want to be assumed. They don't want you to pay attention to them. That's not their point, unless they want you to because you're being an idiot. Other than that, they want to stay out of your sight line as much as possible, depending on where you're at. I know a lot of like strip clubs, their bouncers stay basically in the shadows until they're needed,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
the
there's just a
point.
big gorilla looking mother effer has you very quickly if you're causing trouble.
Well,
So there's a lot to this stuff, and filmmakers know this stuff. By the way, he's not standing like that on accident. That was
no,
told. He was directed to stand
no,
that
I'm
way.
sure he was. Yes, yes. But no, no. As a bouncer, there are two main arm positions. If you're standing in a position like against a column or a wall where they want you to be seen, you put
Yeah,
your arms across your chest. You cross
that's
your
right.
arms that way because it makes you look bigger and more intimidating.
And
Uh,
unreasonable.
and
Makes you look
unreasonable.
unreasonable.
That's right. That's rare. A lot of times you are kind of in the shadow, paying attention to what's going on because that's your job is to kind of de-escalate things. You're not there
Yeah.
to beat people up. That's not your job. But when I went to go talk to people, I put my hand behind my back. I
Yes.
do the
It's a
professor stance.
position of authority. Yes.
Yes, but it's also not a threatening one though, right?
Right.
And I know I'm quick enough with my shoulder movement, my hip movement, my foot movement that even with my hands behind my back, I'm still in combat ready, right?
Right.
Because I know my capability. What can I do? You need to understand those things if you're in any kind of job or sport like that.
Yeah.
But anyway. You're right though. They had her crunching over because she's taller than he is. That's what it was. Yeah. And now that she needs to be presented as more powerful, he's minimizing himself. He's offering himself in supplication, and she's standing up
Yes.
full. That's what's going on. Yeah. Okay.
And all this stuff is like this is actual politics. This is the stuff that people don't think about when they think about politics because it's subconscious to us as humans. But when you get into these like upper echelons of political maneuvering, they will literally teach you this stuff. They will teach you how to stand, they will teach you how to gesture, how to move. Why do you think they all basically mimic each other? There's a
Yeah.
reason for that, and it's
Yeah.
because most human communication is nonverbal. And the way you move, the way you carry yourself, your posture, your demeanor says far more about you than you want to admit.
Right. Yeah, that's true. You'll never see a politician lean a shoulder in toward you, right? They'll
Yes.
never dip a shoulder toward you. There's lots of little things like this. And the sad thing is, this, handing this off, especially if it was his daughter, would have been fine. There's no
Yeah.
problem with it. The problem with it is this particular character from the book didn't work. People didn't like it. So you shouldn't have done that. You should have went with what you hinted at and clearly wanted to do. And the other problem is you now have replaced every single solitary member of the Avengers with a female. And you
Yep.
think people aren't going to notice that? I mean, if you wanted to switch it up and put some females in male roles and then some, change Black Widow into a male character, or you do something like that, or just introduce new male characters, that would have been fine. But that's not what they've done. They're replacing all of them, right? And it's
Yep.
like it's too much, dude. It's too much.
Well, let's
Anyway,
see. Doctor Strange will be next.
oh yeah, Wanda,
Scarlet Witch is going to take his
Thor,
place.
Thor.
They already have She-Hulk. They already put a trailer out for that, so that's going to happen. Thor, I don't think Thor's going to stick. I think Thor's just going to die. I think the character's just going to be
Yeah,
retired
no, they're going to
for
kill
a
him
minute.
off. I'm sure they're going to kill him off. Yeah.
But I don't think she wants to be in the MCU. Really, I really
Oh,
don't. I
she
think
won't.
she's
No, no, you're
yeah,
right. She won't. What's going to happen? I'm pretty sure he's going to die during it. She's going to pick up the hammer and avenge him, or he's near death, or so. That's what's going to happen. She's going to hold the hammer for a half second. But what they're going to do is they're going to pass the hammer on to someone like Valkyrie. The villain
oh
is going to
god.
carry. No, the villain is going to carry the hammer. That's just too much sweet justice in their opinion.
Hmm.
She-Hulk coming in, which is unfortunate because She-Hulk's fine. I have no problem with She-Hulk, but she's as coming in as a lesbian replacement, right?
You know what I would like, and we'll never get, and we'll probably never even see, is Beta Ray fucking Bill.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, I'd love to see Beta Ray, but we
He's
won't.
one of the best characters in Marvel, legitimately. Like, his story is awesome, but we'll never get that.
Yeah.
Nope.
He's
They're
more
not allowed to have
he's
that.
more Thor than Thor, really.
Yeah, that's literally his story. He's more worthy than Thor.
Yeah.
That's his story.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what's going on in last week in entertainment. There was a bunch of stories I didn't talk about today because they're all comic related, and I'm going to talk about them tomorrow. And it's the same kind of silliness. Honestly, most of the stuff we talk about, we're just kind of having a laugh, really. It's just kind of how silly it is and dumb, and because we don't need it, we have other things to do. We don't have to
Yeah.
watch their movies. It's not
Yeah.
necessary. Speaking of that, I watched Boss Level with Frank Grillo. Go watch that
Oh.
shit, dude. That's an instant
Did
classic.
you
baby.
watch Goon?
Did I watch what?
You didn't watch Dune, did you?
No, because it's not available in the theaters correctly over here.
This guy, I tell you, this guy. I watched it again the other night. Somebody had a rip of it from HBO Max because it was on there for a minute, and now it's not on there for some reason in America anyway. And so we watched it, and it's a great movie. It really is good. It's very well done. The director Villanueva, he needs more work. Let's put it that way.
He has a good look. Yeah, he does.
He gets it. And the one thing that these guys, because these guys didn't watch it, and one of them was actually Grimlock. He's never been interested in Dune, really. He just hung out and watched it with us, and he liked it. And he was just like, what the thing that it does is it understands that a movie can just be quiet. It doesn't have to always be loud. It can just be quiet.
Yeah, isn't that
and
nice?
It does that beautifully. And it is so nice and refreshing when you don't have 9 million trumpets blaring in your ear while you're in the middle of a dramatic scene or whatever. It's just quiet. It doesn't have to be a dramatic scene. It's just a quiet scene where not much is going on. And it's just nice and quiet. Just setting a mood, setting a tone. And he does that masterfully.
Yeah. Well, they did a good job, like with that type of moments of quietness in Boss Level too. The only problem, the only negative I have to say about that movie, it's its stupid name. That's it.
What's it even about? I've never even heard of it.
It's Groundhog Day with guns.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Frank Grillo kills it. That is an instant classic. Instant classic.
Never even heard of it.
Go watch it. Yeah, I know.
The new movie?
It wasn't released internationally. They put it on Hulu for a bit. They released it in the UAE, I think, or Saudi Arabia or something like that. But I'm telling you, go watch that movie. Instant classic. Instant. Great fun movie. Frank kicks it, dude. It's really fun. It has all the right notes, right?
Huh.
Yeah, it's not some crazy Oscar movie that you remember for the rest of your life and move you or change your life or any of that crap. It's a good old action movie, and it's an instant classic. I'd put it up there with Predator or Cobra or any of those things any day. Seriously. Yeah.
That's good. We need more like that.
Yeah,
we need just fun, awesome action movies.
Yep.
That's what we need. We need lots more of that. And Dune, I would say, for me, is somewhere between The Matrix, the first one, and The Lord of the Rings, the first one. Somewhere in that ballpark. Like, I'd say it's not quite Lord of the Rings level, but I would say it's not going to have the impact. I hope it does, because I like the filmmaking style. But it's not going to have the impact like The Matrix did, because obviously that changed the industry.
It did. It was a big movie, yeah.
But I think, like, as far as storytelling goes, it does a really good job, because I've said this before, I don't really like the storyline of Dune. I think it's kind of boring, but the world building's fantastic. This actually does a great job with the storyline. It actually tells the story in a way that's far more entertaining than the book is, in my opinion. Now, obviously, the world building, nothing will beat a book for world building, usually, just because it's your own imagination.
The book can be a bit of a slog.
But the book's a slog. Yeah. And the movie doesn't feel like that at all. That 2.5, whatever it is, 3 hour, it goes by at it's a very, what I called it was deliberate. It knows its pace, and it sticks to it. And
Villeneuve was good at that. He is good at that.
Yeah.
Villeneuve, sorry. I don't know why I got caught in the Villanova thing. Anyway, I do have to respond to Eric here, who's coming here at the end. Eric suggested to me to watch two series. One was Nosferatu, and the other one was the Stand, the recent remake of the Stand. First of all, the Stand is way, 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 way better than Nosferatu. But the Stand is also it's kind of boring, to be fair. It's not. It's okay. It's okay. That's what I'll say. It's okay. But it's also not my favorite Stephen King story. But nevertheless, Nosferatu, though, I want to talk about this one for a second. I'm assuming you haven't seen it.
No.
Okay. Um, Zachary Quinto. He's produced this. I don't think he directed it, but he's the producer of it. This is his baby. And he also plays the main bad guy, Charlie Manx. And he as the bad guy is wonderful. I mean, Zachary knocks it out of the park. It's really well done.
As he usually does.
Yeah, and that's all I have to say. Because he is the bad guy, but yet only person I'm ever rooting for is him.
Oh no.
Because your hero is not heroic. She is a whiny, pathetic loser. How is this your hero? And for some reason, because she's not lesbian, of course, there is a lesbian character, her best friend, of course. But she's not a lesbian character. She's a normal heterosexual female. But the whole time, especially in season 2, they're desperately trying to make her a man. They literally have her in male clothing. It's not just masculine style, literally man pants and man shirts, rolling up her sleeves like a man does. Though she's walking and sitting like a man. They directed her to do this, and I don't get it because she's not the dyke character. Supposed to be a normal female. She has a man. She got a kid. You know why her? Whereas the actual lesbian you had, of course, you have to put a lesbian in these days, who is beyond the fact that she's ugly as sin, but whatever. She's the one that's all dolled up in little skirts and stuff.
Mm.
And it's like I don't get that. But whatever. That's not that important really. It's just the acting. It's just whining and whining and whining on and on and on. Woe is me. My God, it sucked, dude. It's really bad. The only good thing about it was Zachary kicks ass, dude. And that's the reason you watch it. And they did get canceled after 2 seasons, which is good. It is good because it's a complete story. That's it. It's done. We don't need more of that shit. We certainly don't need more of that shit. Zachary was amazing. And Eric says Zachary is great. The girl is hard to like. She's unlikable. It is even worse in the second season, much worse. You can't like her at all. Charlie is the hero of the series, which is weird because he literally murders parents and turns children into vampire demons. Yeah, but he's the hero. That's where we're at, Thundero. That's where we're at.
Oh boy, that
yeah.
sounds like it's just a whole ordeal over there. Whatever's happening on that show.
it's. I don't think I can't recommend it because it's too much of a slog. It's just too much. That main character and she sucks, dude. She sucks. She sucks.
You want to watch a film? Now it's not a show, but a film with a great main character. Go watch Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy. It's a silly little movie, it's really a family movie. But his main character, him as Guy, Free Guy, hence the name, is spectacular. He's enjoyable.
I bet so.
He's
good at that.
Fun to watch. He's humorous, but he's not super Ryan Reynolds-y, with the sarcasm and stuff, because he's supposed to be the lovable freak, the lovable main character. So he's not that so much. He still has, he still gets his jokes in, but it's a lot less of that. I really liked that movie. It's not, it's not going to change the world or anything, but it was what movies used to be when they were allowed to not be cynical.
Yeah.
And my cynical self watching it, I was expecting the cynicism to turn on at some point, and it just doesn't do it.
That's good.
And I really appreciated that because it was even Taika Waititi, who plays the villain. At first, he comes off like Taika Waititi, way over the top, overacted. But eventually, he gets comfortable in it, and it's far better. He does a far
Yeah.
better job by the end.
Yeah, that's on the
Um,
list. We're gonna watch that. Yeah, that's on
yeah,
our
well,
list. Yeah.
check that out. I think you'll like that. It's just a
Yeah.
fun little movie. It's not
Yeah.
great or anything, but it's one of his best performances, I would say. Ryan's
Yeah.
honestly, as a lead, yeah, one of his best
But he's got
performances.
that funness to him. John
Yeah.
Dillard says, "Watch Midnight Mass on Netflix. Very good character development. Make sure to watch it without reading up on it." I agree. That's way better than the two things I just talked about, which is Nosferatu and the Stand. Midnight
Yeah.
Mass. It has a couple of oddity things in it, but overall, I think it was interesting. It was very interesting. I agree with that. Eric says, "How about all the fake Maine accents?" Well, they're actually uh, they're supposed to be New Englanders, I guess, but they were pretty horrible. Especially the interesting thing about that is supposed to be set in mainly in Boston, not Boston, Massachusetts, north of Salem is where that town's supposed to be. But they don't sound like it's wrong. But here's the interesting thing: they actually, which actually caught my attention, Thundero, because they
Mm.
shot that TV series Nosferatu. They shot it in my hometown, my little
Oh my,
village I come from. They actually,
interesting.
yeah, they even had Aunt Carrie's in there. I mean, they literally shot right down in Point Judith, and it looks like I think I saw Cranston in there and a little bit of Exeter as well. But so they shot the whole thing in Rhode Island, Southern Rhode Island, for some reason. So that was neat. I was like, oh, look at that, you know. But no, the accents are pretty bad. You're right, Eric. But it's unfortunate. I can't recommend it because getting to that girl is insufferable. But it's which is unfortunate because Zachary Quinto kills it, dude. He's really cool as Charlie Manx. He does a really good story. Um, yeah, yeah, there it is. Yeah.
That's a
But
good word for it, actually. Joshua says he's wholesome. Guy in that movie is very wholesome. It's a pretty wholesome story, actually. It's. I'm not going to spoil a twist for you, but it has a twist in it that I didn't see coming. I did, but I didn't. Once I started watching the movie, I did, but going into it, I didn't know that's what was going to happen. Um, and yeah, it's if you want a nice, wholesome movie that you can just watch with the wife, like just hang out and watch with the wife, and you'll enjoy. Free Guy, do it. It's a good movie. You'll like it.
yeah, no,
Um,
definitely.
if
Well
you want
recommended.
a movie that, for me anyway, has stuck with me and I keep thinking about, Dune. It's that's what a movie like that should have been. He killed it. He hit it exactly as good as anybody's ever gonna, I think. And it's one of those movies that you think about after you've watched. Like it just stuff
That's
keeps
neat.
coming back to you.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. All right, guys.
So I recommend it highly.
There you go. Recommendations and non-recommendations. We had a lot of non-recommendations today, but it sounds like Dune, Free Guy, and definitely a boss level as well.
Yeah,
Definitely check that out. That's a instant, especially if you like those old 80s action films. It's beautiful because it knows how to have a laugh at its own expense. That's important.
it is important.
But anyway, there you go, guys. Thank you all very much. Come back tomorrow. Actually, I got a lot of stories set up for tomorrow. My research is done. I don't have to do any more. So that's good. And we'll have some fun talking about that stuff. But otherwise, have yourself a good night. And Thundero, take us out of here, man.
I have two things to say. One, I may not be here tomorrow. We'll see what happens with my father. And
Yeah,
if I'm not, just I would like anybody who's listening who has the ability to hop in and help Chester out. Um,
just
even if
give
I
it a
even
lot
if
of
I
help.
do show even if I do show up, you're always welcome.
Sure.
Um, and other than that, I hope everybody has a better week than I have. That's all I can give you.
Fair enough. Yeah, we know we definitely need Eric up in here tomorrow, please. But so and there's good stories to talk about too. Anyway, thank you all very much. Good luck here to Thundero's dad. Hopefully he'll pull through. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Later.